Hey y'all, it's me Andrea with Sucs For You in Houston, Texas, and I'm very excited, though a little nervous about this video. It's a demonstration on how to build an in-ground cacti and succulent garden, which isn't a huge deal, but again, I live in Houston, and our summers are very hot, very humid, and very, very wet. So not the ideal location for cacti and succulents, right? And as I mentioned in the last video, it also freezes and rains when we least expect it. Freezes and snows and rains when we least expect it. So planting these guys in the ground comes with a responsibility to protect them from any extreme elements the weather sends our way, or all of them, which seems to happen here. In the following demonstration, I'm expanding my succulent garden by about 3 feet, and I started with the first section about 2 years ago as an experiment, and after most of them survived, I decided to, I was encouraged to go ahead and expand it another 3 feet, which you see here. And today I'm going to be showing you the new section that we added. I say we because I asked some people on Instagram, my followers on Sucs For You, to give me some ideas on which plants to include, and so they did, and I thank you guys for that. So this is kind of a community garden, and it makes it even more special to me. So all in all, I feel pretty good about sharing the process, though I do have to warn you, I don't expect all these plants to like it in this bed. Some may die, some may need to be repotted and put back on my porch. Again, this is Houston, and anything could happen, and I'm prepared for that. But both of my in-ground test gardens have done much better than I thought they would. A lot of the plants are really thriving more than they ever would in a pot, despite the wacky weather. And I definitely think with enough of the right drainage materials and a few basic tips to help keep your plants elevated above ground level, which I'm going to show you, it's totally possible to grow cacti and succulents in the ground just about anywhere, as long as you're prepared to protect them when the time comes, and it probably will. And that could mean covering them with frost cloths in the winter, shading them from too much direct sun. This is a west-facing garden, so when the summer temperatures peak, there is a great chance that I'm going to come in and just put up some little drop cloth thing with some little stakes and call it a day. Even extra rain protection, always dreaming up little ideas for quick and easy rain shelters. So yeah, remember, in a pinch you can always dig them up, take them back in, put them somewhere safe, and then put them back in the ground when it's safe to come back outside. I'm using a voiceover narration for this video so I can focus on getting the job done more quickly, and I think I'll have a pretty good time on this video considering all that we accomplished. So ready? Let's get started. So here's a shot of the first 6 feet of the garden that I have installed, and we got a ton of succulents and cacti in there. These opuntia are going crazy. I'm really happy that the mammillaria spinosissima down at the end decided to bloom just in time for this video. Check out those beautiful pink flower crowns, y'all. Oh my gosh. So we need to get this section prepared where I had some herbs in the ground. I went ahead and relocated them, and I'm going to need to amend this soil. And I'm going to be adding a bunch of pumice and other fun stuff to it. And in order to get it prepared, I'm going to get those earthworms out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and dig some of it out, put it in a bin, and at the same time I'm going to be getting the edge dug up so I can go ahead and place this stone edger where I need it. I like to leave a little space open in between the edgers so that some water can flow out, and I'll leave a little bit of space and then fill it with extra rocks right there. And then we'll be taking, we're going to take out some of this dirt, put it in a bin, and it'll make it a lot easier to mix it with our drainage materials. I'd say maybe about 3 inches or so. The deeper the better, of course. You want to remove your soil, add in some pumice. I like using pumice. I like using turfus, the porous ceramic soil conditioner. We'll be using some shale, and not only adding it to this bucket, we'll definitely be adding a lot more in as we go. So again, I find it easier just to mix it all up in a bin and then fill it back up with a shovel, and then just go from there. You can view the supplies page on my website, sucsforyou.com, and I have that linked below in the video description, and that's where you can see where I get most of my supplies, like the turfus and the pumice. So we want to go ahead and refill this section, and we're going to build it up as high as we can, and the higher the better, as I mentioned. And then we're going to start forming some hills so that we can give it even more lift. So once you get the amended materials back in the bed, again, I like to leave a little space in between the edges for any extra water to run out. And we'll come back in with this expanded shell and help build it up a little bit more. This stuff's great. It's really affordable. A quick note, you might want to smell your supplies. Smell your, sounds funny, but I had a friend who told me that she bought some shale and it smelled like petroleum. It gave her a headache. So I made sure to do the smell check at the store, and they looked at me a little weird, but you know what? It doesn't smell like anything but rocks. So get down in there, mix it up really well, start forming your hills. You can use some rocks to kind of outline where you want to place your hills. And I like to put one at the top, and you're going to flatten out the top of that hill. Come back in and add more material, and just keep working it around. It doesn't start looking like it much until you get towards the end and start sticking some plants in. So I'm sorry if you can't really see the definition of the different kind of levels in this little spot. So I've closed up that edge of the border with some big rocks I had laying around. I don't know if I'm going to leave them in place, but I did need something there to keep the dirt from running away from me while I was working up this section. Well, they'll do for now. So I feel pretty good about the height difference we have here. There's a definite slope that leads from the back of the wall to the front of the bed. And I'm going to create some more terraces and just kind of pack the tops down. And then come back in with some river rock and really start defining those hills. This is when we're going to start actually seeing progress, I think. Okay, now I know that these aren't going to stay in place as I plant into them, but now I have a really good idea of where I want to place everything, and I do believe that we are now ready to start putting plants in the ground. So I just want to step back and look at the space I created and look at the plants that I have and decide where I want to place them before I actually plant them in the ground. These are some of the echeveria and other colorful dudes I want to use. And just having a look at it, we definitely don't want those fire sticks back against the wall. So those will be moved. I'm going to start with this Cereus peruvianus. It was a cutting, and now it has a ton of great roots. And he's going to grow straight up. He's a columnar cactus, however you say that. So I won't have to worry about him, the wall getting in the way of his growth. Moving the fire sticks forward so they have room to branch out, and getting this sharp punk in the ground. Pilocereus azureus is so sharp, you guys. I was hurt making this video, but it's worth it. I'm going to put some of this sedum firestorm around the blue chalk sticks and the peruvianus because I really think they complement each other. Just the color contrast is amazing. And these golden sedum, I'm going to put them all the way over in the corner so your eye gets drawn all the way across the bed. And I'm using this big rock to help prop them up a little bit because they're very tall, but I like it. I'm going to come back in with some expanded shale just to help get everything tucked into place, kind of give it a more finished look so I can really see what's happening. Yeah, I really like that. So now we're going to start putting some echeveria into the ground. This is a peacocky, and it's really big, so I'm propping it up with a rock. And this is echeveria tippy.
And if you can tell, I'm kind of planting them at an angle, not straight down into the ground. They're actually kind of built into that hill behind it. Got an Echeveria Pearl von Nürnberg. I'm using some of the hardier Echeveria varieties for obvious reasons, I think. And they're also pretty easy to find, so they're replaceable. But mostly they're tough cookies, and I've had a lot of good luck with them, especially the Lilacenas. They just stand up in all kinds of weather. I had someone from Arizona tell me that it survived some really crazy heat there. And I'm putting in some of these flowering Kalanchoe Vegenkoi. I looked up how to say that because, I mean, it's easier to say than spell, that's for sure. And yeah, I really like the way it's starting to look. I love the little orange flowers. Adds a lot of pop, but I think it needs a little more color in this section. So here is an Echeveria minima and a neon breaker. Yes, those are going to really add some texture and a little more color. So again, I'm glad I didn't put these in the ground permanently yet. And we're going to be able to easily move them around and rework them until we like what we're looking at. Oh yeah, this is looking better already. I need these colors in here to kind of break up. Well, the greens, they're different and the leaves are different, but we definitely need more contrast. Make it a little more interesting. That little minima, he's so cute. I'm gonna just finalize this, put the rocks in place. I really like the way it looks. You can see a different height from where I am all the way to the back of the wall. There's something to look at. And it blends in with the rest of the garden really well. So I'm digging this. Ha 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 ha. You know, I haven't always had such an amazing space to work with in the backyard. Places I've lived before, just they didn't offer me the chance to be able to experiment with a succulent garden like this. So I'm definitely going to take advantage of the time that I have in this house. And I hope that you have some space to work with. Again, this started out as just a 3x2, about from here down to the steps, and it did well. And I decided, you know what, let's go for it. Let's expand. And I'm sure glad I did. I should mention that I have had a lot of these plants for a long time. Some of them even in the ground, like these fire sticks. So, they were all used to the sun as much as I could acclimatize them before I put them in the ground, just to make sure they weren't going to freak out. I really love this Mopani wood my son let me use. He had it in his bearded dragon tank, and now it's in my garden. And I have all these really cool rocks. And this is a Nodocactus Buenenjai that's about to bloom. I just call him Boo because nobody's got time to say that name. Buenenjai. Oh my gosh. I really love this section right here in particular. It's got my Cryptopetalums and jelly beans. And that's my Echeveria topsy-turvy. I finally just turned it loose from the pot because she was going crazy with all those stem babies hanging on. Oh my gosh. And that's Fred. It's my big Fred Ives. He has been through so much, and he's about to flower for me. And there is even a little baby, this little orangey peach dude coming out of the base. He's growing so fast. I love it so much.
And that's all there is to it. I hope this video inspires you to try starting your own experimental succulent garden, even if you're located somewhere with subpar conditions like me. It feels really good to try something when the odds are against you and still succeed. And I wouldn't have known that this was possible if I didn't try it, so I'm very glad I did. Plus the joy my garden brings me, like, every day. There's some stress to it, but it's definitely worth the joy in the end. I especially like watching the little lizards come and hang out and romp around everywhere. And I hope they like the new section. I'm pretty sure they will. Let's see. I'll be sure to give you guys an update on how things are faring throughout the year, maybe after spring and definitely after summer. So stay tuned for that. And check out the video description for more information and other places you can find me in the online plant world, like Instagram, our Facebook group. All the links are in the descriptions of the videos below. Please like and subscribe and leave your questions and comments and ideas for future videos in the comments as well. And thank you for watching, and I really appreciate everyone who drops me a line and lets me know that these have helped them, who asks me questions, tells me about their trials and triumphs. I have learned everything I know right along with you guys. So, yeah, I really appreciate y'all. Thank you.